Hello everyone, this is Fauzi Ahmed Bishas. I am here with my group Team Inquisitive and we are here to present the topic the current risk of Bangladesh's economy and its solution.
So now let's look at the debt crisis of Bangladesh. According to the World Bank's report, the foreign debt of Bangladesh has rose up to 234%, which is $91.34 billion. If we look at the graph on the right side, we will see that the total Bangladesh's loan which he has taken from different countries. For example, 22.21% from Japan, 17% from ADB. On the other side, we can see Bangladesh's external loan scenario. In the last fiscal year, the total external loan was $63.88 billion. Now, let's look at the risks and reasons of debt crisis. At the first point, Bangladesh's total external debt has more than tripled within the last 10 years. Right now, Bangladesh's per capita debt is $558. 37 out of 37 out of 40 packages of debt has to be repaid starting from 2030. But it might not be possible for Bangladesh to starting repaying the debt from the given time. Debt interest payment by poorest country rise 35%. Continuously rescheduling of the mega projecting budgets is another and final reasons of debt crisis. So, finally, what could be the possible solution for this problem? Firstly, by surplusing the export and remittance earnings more than the imports, we can add some extra money as well as reduce the extra expenses from our economy. Secondly, by ensuring good government transparency and adequacy in forming some mega projects. Finally, by paying off the high interest debt at first, we can reduce the problems.
Another economic risk of Bangladesh is forex reserve deficiency. Forex reserve deficiency happened because foreign reserve decreased a lot in past 5 years. As we can see that in 2022 it was $41 billion, but by July 2022 it went to $37 billion. In 2022, Bangladesh imported $83 billion of goods, but exported only $52 billion of goods. As we can see, the trade deficit is $31 billion, and in past days it was not that amount. As we can see that the trade deficit is increasing every year in Bangladesh. Secondly, the value of taka is decreasing every year. As we can see that it has been decreased over 20% by the past 6 months. Thirdly, if Bangladesh wants to get the second tranche of $4.7 billion loan package, Bangladesh needs to rebuild its reserve by 4 months. Bangladesh is a developing country and remittance is a main source of foreign reserve in our country. But there is a bad news that remittance of Bangladesh was $25 billion in fiscal year 2021. But it went down in fiscal year 2022, which was only $21 billion. Importers who are ready to import goods are not being able to issue LC from banks as there is a shortage of foreign reserve. So importers who even are ready to import goods at 100% LC margin are not getting greenback from the banks. Now comes to the part of solution to these economic problems. As we all may know that Bangladesh imports goods almost everything from food grains to sugar, edible oil, cotton yarn and raw materials for manufacturing and many more. So Bangladesh needs to produce goods domestically, and Bangladesh Bank's initiative to increase the margin for LC, and it will help a lot. As we have noticed that remittances are decreasing all over the world. Countries took initiative to boost up the inflow of remittance to manage the foreign reserve and exchange rate volatility. and there should be initiatives taken by Bangladesh government to arrange remittance campaigns to collect money from overseas Bangladeshis. Lastly, analysts and bankers have said that exchange rate should be left to the market, but Bangladesh Bank didn't pay heed to this topic until August last year, and Bangladesh Bank allowed bankers and foreign exchange dealers to set three type of exchange rate for remitters, importers, and exporters.
Another great trouble for our economy is the inflation rate. The inflation rate is increasing day by day in our country. We can see the inflation rates in the chart. In in April 2022, the inflation rate was 6.29%, but in July 2022, the inflation rate became 7.8%. Now, at this present time, in 2023, the inflation rate is 8.7%, by which we can see that the inflation rate is consecutively getting higher day by day. So, if this situation continues a little bit longer, our country will face a great trouble. The inflation rate got increased 32% in the last year in our country. So there must be some reasons behind the increase of this inflation rate. The first one is the Ukraine-Russia war, which took a great impact on the international trade, and that's why the trade deficit happened in our country. For this reason, the purchasing power of the people of our country has declined. They couldn't buy as much product as they could buy in the past years. The another reason for the inflation rate is the expansionary monetary policy and the fiscal policy. For this reason, the supply of the money has increased than the demand of the money. For this, the value of the money has declined and the inflation rate has become higher and higher day by day. It's time to talk about the solutions of the problem. If we want to decrease the rate of the inflation, first of all we have to fix the amount of the dollar rate. If the dollar rate becomes stable, the trading will be also stable, and the rate and the value of the money will remain also stable in our country, and the inflation will not get high. Another solution for this problem can be the price controlling and the controlling the government spending. If we can control the price in the market from the opportunities, we can control the inflation rate. And if the unnecessary government spending will decrease, then the inflation rate is also decreased and the value of the money will remain stable. And the last one can be the increase of the interest rate. If the interest rate, I mean the bank rate, is increased, the money supply will decrease and the value of the money will increase, and finally the inflation rate will get lower day by day. That's all about the inflation problem and solutions from me.
Inflation rates are falling in many parts of the world, including war-affected European countries and United States. But in Bangladesh, the drop of inflation rate has rather been weak. Even when commodity prices in international market dropped down, but there have been no change in Bangladesh. For instance, the global price of wheat dropped below $8 per bushel in February 17, but in the local market price of cereal in Bangladesh didn't decrease. Currently, 1 kilogram of wheat is selling for Taka 68 in Bangladesh, which is 51% higher than the previous year and also higher than the international commodity markets. Similarly, the global commodity market price of soybean oil and price of crude oil dropped to pre-war levels, but the local price didn't follow the suit. Even the government set fuel price didn't decrease despite the price going down in global market. The consumer price rose by 8.69% when the income increased by only average of 6.9%. There are actually a lot of reasons behind the high price of commodity products such as energy price hike, power price hike and gas price hike. And most importantly, Bangladesh is an import dependency country, and so when there are any turbulence in international market, we actually have to adjust with the international market, and the price of commodity products goes higher with that. And also one of the key reason is increasing living cost. Dhaka city is now one of the most populated and one of the most expensive city in the world, and That's why the overall economy has to face inflation, then the price of commodity products are getting higher and higher. Another key reason is impact on money circulation. So, what could be the possible solution? Government can use their taxation and spending policy to influence inflation. For example, Bangladesh could have reduced tax in imports, at least in essential commodities and food commodities, to bring the price of those goods down. Also, we can use an exchange rate policy to control inflation by adjusting our currency's value. A weaker currency can increase the price of important goods, leading to higher inflation, whereas stronger currency can decrease prices. Weakening the taka has been stalking inflation in Bangladesh. Then there are supply side policies. Countries can take steps to increase the supply of goods and services in the economy, which can help reduce inflation, which can include measures such as reducing regulation, investing in infrastructure, and promoting competition.
So here I am describing another major economic problem in our country, which is fragile banking system. As a developing economy, Bangladesh has encouraged to develop its banking sector in order to promote economic growth. But the current banking and non-banking financial sectors are in the most vulnerable position, which is said by Finance Minister in the last month. Here, according to the data from Bangladesh Bank, we can see that the default loan amount in 2020 was 88,734, which is increased in 1,34,396 in 2022. And we can say it is 3 times increase from the previous year, which added fuel to the fire in our current economic problem. Now let's see the risk and reason. The first one is many non-performing loan on bank balance sheet. If any principal of payment or interest cannot be placed until 90 to 180 days, it can include into the non-performing bank. The second one is country's largest private bank, which is Islamic Bank, had to seek financial support from the central bank. This is occurred due to loan fraud that Islamic Bank faced from influential business individuals or group. The third one is bank is still scrambling for dollar to settle its previous letter of credit obligation, which is enforced by Bangladesh Bank. And the last one is increase in repo rate. Their repo rate is the key monetary policy rate on interest. Bangladesh Bank has increased repo rate to 5.7% from 5.5% to control inflation. Okay, now let's look at some possible solution which can reduce these problems. The first one is government should encourage expatriate by providing bonuses on their remittance, and the second one is before providing loan, government should use some investigation program to recover default loan, and the last but not least, government should provide some special long-term repo rate for finance small bank.